Good morning. The Lord is good all the time. He's good to all of us. We trust that you and yours are well. We are going to be blessed with a song at this time.
Because you care for me in such a special way. That's why I praise you, I lift you up, and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. Come on, say it again. I love you, tell them I love you, I love you, Lord, today, because you care for me in such a special way. That's why I praise you, I lift you up, I lift you up, and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. Come on, let's declare my heart. My soul belongs to you. You paid the price for me. Way back on Calvary. Way back on Calvary. That's why I praise you. I lift you up. I lift you up. That's why my heart is filled with praise. Oh, my soul belongs to you. Yes, you paid the price for me. Way back on Calvary. Way back on Calvary. Oh, that's why I praise you. I lift you up. I lift you up. And I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. Let's declare I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you, Lord, today, because you cared for me. He cares for us in such a special way. Such a special way. That's why I praise you. I lift you up. I lift you up, and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. Because you're so good. You're so worthy. That's why. That's why my heart is filled with praise. You're my strength. That's why my heart is filled with praise. That's why my heart is filled with praise.
Hallelujah. Let us go directly into the word of the Lord. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Psalms 29, verses 1 and 2. Verse 1 says, "Give unto the Lord, O ye mighty, give unto the Lord glory and strength. Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness." I'd like to talk to you today from this one word topic, and that is do. Do can be defined according to Webster's dictionary. It can be defined as something that rightfully belongs to you. It's personal, it's distinct. So that means that the blessing that God has for me is personal, it's distinct. Yes. What God has for me is for me alone. Yes. Now nothing can stop that but me. Satan can hinder it. He can try to block it. He can even delay it. But delay is never denied. And sometimes human beings have a way of saying things to try to stop your blessing, what God has for you. Now remember, you are the only one that sometimes that can stop your blessing from coming into full fruition. This means that we can do it with our mouth and the things that we say. We can do it with the choices and the decisions that we make. So that's why it's good that for us to watch what comes out of our mouth and acknowledge the Lord always in every decision that we make. Now sometimes the enemy will tell you that because you made a mistake, that it's all over with, that you will never come into your due season. But I got a good word for you today. Even though sometimes you may make a mistake, you may make bad decisions, all of us have. We are grateful that God's blessings is not based on how good I am, but they're based on the fact that God is good. So that means that when I err, when I make a wrong decision, when I make a bad mistake, when I do something contrary that isn't right, the way to correct that is that I can always find grace and forgiveness with God. And I can confess it to God. I made a mistake. I messed up. I blew it. Boy, I missed the mark by a whole lot. And God will forgive when you are sincere from your heart. And you really mean it. And you can get right back on track. That's right. Sometimes the enemy will fight you so hard when you are very close to your due season. That's when the heat turns up the most. The closer you are to it, the hotter the heat is going to get. Listen, sometimes we deserve a blessing from God, but the enemy will try to make it look like that it's not going to come to pass. Sometimes a person will get promoted before you when you really deserve the promotion, and they did. But the thing to do at that time is don't get weary in well doing, but wait on your season. Somebody's saying right now, but you don't know how I blew it. I messed up real bad. I said some words that I thought were gone. And some words came up out of me that I thought wasn't there no more. Man, I thought I would never use those words. But see, sometimes the enemy, when you choose to sow to the spirit and not the flesh, sometimes the enemy will get so upset with you to he'll put so much pressure on you. My God, never say what you won't say or do. Amen. God knows what's in you more than anybody else. So you use some choice words that I could never say over the air, but you know what they were. You used some choice words and you thought about doing something, and you said, my God, you thought about doing something you ain't never had thoughts like that before. And then the enemy will tell you it's a done deal now. But listen to me. Get up out of those sackcloth and ashes. Dust yourself off, and you claim what God says in his word. That no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. Many are the affliction of the righteous, but the Lord shall deliver them out of them all. The enemy may come in like a flood, But the Spirit of God will always lift up a standard against him. Get back on track, because you can. And that blessing belongs to you. Don't let him cheat you. He come to steal, kill, and to destroy. But I'm glad that Jesus came to give us life, and we can experience it more abundantly. He don't want any of us to step into our due season. But I'm glad that God always put the right word in the right person's mouth at the right time. Here's what a good word to do. Proverbs 15, a word spoken in due season. How good is it that you knew how. Doing everything you could to get things together, keep things together. But me, if I'm going through, you're going to know it. Glory, I'm going to try to pretend that everything is hunky-dory. If I'm going through something, you say, how you doing? Look, you need to pray right now. Amen. No. I'm believing that all is well. But if I need somebody to pray, the best place that you can look and should get that from is the house of God. And another child of God. And when we come into agreement, God will step into that and he'll turn things all the way around. As a matter of fact, he gives us the toil of the learner, that we may know how to speak a word in season to the person that is weary. I like what it says in Galatians 6 and 9. It says, let us not be weary in well doing. For in due season we shall reap. It's a promise, but listen to the condition that falls behind it. We shall reap in due season. That means there's a time set for it to happen. And remember, God's time is never like our time. It's never like our time. Sometimes you wait a day, sometimes it might be a month, sometimes it may be several years. But when you approach it with the right attitude, it'll seem just like it was yesterday. For in due season we shall reap. Here's the condition. If we faint not. That's a challenge. Because when everything is on you, pressure to the left, pressure to the right, in front and in the back, that's pressure for a human being. That's why 1 Peter 5 and 7 says we can cast all our cares upon him because he cares. I want to end it with 1 Samuel 30. This was a time when King David, we know that he was anointed at an early age to be the next king of Israel. And he had already gone through a lot in his life, running from Saul. Saul jealous of him, throwing daggers at him, trying to kill him. He's running from cave to cave. But now, unprotected. His wife has his men, everything they have. When you feel like you in between a rock and a hard place, the enemy may push your back against the wall. But when God get finished dividing that Red Sea and causing them walls of Jericho to fall flat, and dividing that Jordan River and causing bread to fall from heaven and water to run out of a rock and turning bitter water sweet, your God is an awesome God. He can do anything. David was in a bad place, but God is always in a good place. Verse 6 says, and David was greatly distressed. For the people spoke of stoning him because the souls of all the people were grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. David said, this is not my due season. My due season is to be the next king of Israel. Your season is not where you are right now. God has the right season at the right time for you. I don't care how much you're going through right now. And I know that you are dead smack in the middle of it. I know how you feel. Been there, did that. But I also seen the awesome God do great and mighty things. Is there anything too hard for God? When he didn't get no response too quick, God came back and said, there's nothing too hard for the Lord. David said, this is not my season. This time I choose to acknowledge God. And when he acknowledged God, said, should I go? God said, go get him. And I want you to take this good word with you. You shall recover all. Now, when he started out to pursue the Amalekites, some of his men got so tired they couldn't go no more. They had to stop. But God blessed them to meet an Egyptian who the Amalekites had left to die. They gave him water. They gave him raisins. And his strength came back. His spirit came back unto him to the point that he was able to speak again. It's amazing how the enemy will throw folk away. But if you take the time, my God, to nourish them back to health, sometimes it's that very person that will help you get to the next place that you need to get. David said, can you tell us where they are? He said, yeah, I know exactly where they are. But you need to give me this promise, that you won't kill me and you won't turn me over to my master. David said, you got my word. Told them exactly where they are. David went in there and the Bible says he beat them from sunset to sundown. And then listen to these words right here. To them, David recovered all. I found it fascinating that the spoils that they took from David and his men, they hadn't even touched them. Remember, it's personal. It's the God has for you. It is for glory to God. It means that God is only setting you up to give you double for what you already lost. My God. Verse 20 says, and David took all the flocks and the herds which they drove before those other cattle and said, this is David's spoil. This means that when you choose not to faint and God bring you into your season, you will recover all. And you will get that personal, distinct, this blessing that's yours and yours alone. Amen. I thought about there are some times that I wish I could say that God always gets the glory for what he does, but sometimes instead of a praise, he gets a criticism or a complaint. And he doesn't always get the thanks that he deserves. St. Luke 16 tells a story when Jesus was going through Samaria, I believe it was, and there was 10 lepers that cried out to him, heal us. He didn't lay his hands on them, but he said, go show yourself to the priest. And as they went, all 10 of them got healed. 9 of them went on by their way. Didn't even take the time to say thank you, but one. That's high. But one turned around, fell on his face, and took the time to tell God thank you. To give him the glory that is due to his name. Why am I saying this? Here's why I'm saying this. The 9 got healed, but they didn't get everything that was due unto them. But the one that took the time to tell God thank you. The Bible records not only did he get healed, but he was made whole. This means that he got everything that was due to him. Here's how you get everything that's due to you. It all starts with you always giving God the glory that is due to his name. And I guarantee you that everything that is due to you, you will receive it at its appropriate and at its right time. Hold on, child of God. It's never as long as you think. Your breakthrough is right around the corner. That's all I have. But let us pray. Father, I thank you that you have a season, and it's called due season. That's the season that you operate in. And I thank you now, for you have already brought many unto their due season, and they're telling you thank you. They're praising you and rejoicing and thanking you for all the wonderful things that you have done. But somebody is still waiting on their due season. And I thank you that you are mounting them up on wings of an eagle. You're causing them to run and not be weary. You're causing them to walk and not faint. You're giving them supernatural strength as they wait upon you. And I thank you that you are bringing them into their due season, especially for that one that don't know Jesus, that they will give their life to him so that their lives can be made whole and complete. We say a special prayer for all of those that need physical healing. It's by his stripes that we are healed. Thank you, Lord, for blessing her niece and her family and her son. I thank you for giving us a miracle in your mighty name. Bless all of those that's under the sound of our voice. And we'll always give you the glory, the honor, and the praise. If this ministry has been a blessing to you and you want to be a blessing to it, you may send your check or money order to the Church of God for All People, 428 Mount Olive Road, Windsor, North Carolina, 27983. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday night for a message of hope and inspiration at 7:30. I will be by the phone from 12 to 1 to receive your prayer requests. That phone number is 252-348-2673. See you next week. And remember, don't let anything disturb your peace.